my name is Henry Smith. I'm chairman of SARDA. SARDA started in 1987, to the best of my recollection. I was one of the founder members with Mick McCarthy, Neil Powell, Brendan Marr, and there was myself. So we were the founder members. That then progressed on to what we are seeing at the present moment. We have figures go up and down, but as everybody realises, the commitment to SARDA is unbelievable.
A while ago with this particular dog, we were tasked to search for a woman that was missing. She had been gone since lunchtime of the previous day, and when I arrived up for the search for the woman, there was an ongoing search using Gardaí, Coast Guard helicopter, Civil Defence and 3 mountain rescue teams were all in one defined area of forestry. And I arrived up to begin my part of that search at 1 o'clock in the morning. And as we made our way through the forestry, that there was other mountain rescue teams in and other search teams in. This dog took off in a straight line through the trees. He had a little torch on his jacket so I could see him moving through pitch darkness, and then he stopped and then he made a straight line back out to me, indicated, brought me straight back into where that person was, and when we found the person, she was almost dead. And because he found her and because we found her within 40 minutes, the search was about to be stood down until first light the following day, and yet by the time we were finished she had been evacuated down to an ambulance, subsequently into hospital, and has made a full recovery. And this is what these dogs are capable of doing. This is why we do the training that we do. 99% of our searches are not like that. 99% of our searches are so that we go, there isn't anybody in there. And that's as useful to a search manager, because when you're dealing with search managers, they need to know where the person isn't as much as where the person is. So sometimes we get spectacular finds, like in this case, brilliant find, but most of the stuff that they do is just what's called clearing areas. So you come back out to a search manager and you say there's nobody in there, and then you get into another area, you come back out and you say there's nobody in there, and you're always gauging those things in terms of percentages. So you're 70%, you're 80% sure that there's nobody in there, because you can never be 100% sure, because the weather conditions, the wind conditions, the conditions on the ground, all of which may interfere with the way you're searching. But it just means that a search manager can then go, he needs to concentrate his search elsewhere. So they perform this really useful service of clearing areas, and then every so often they perform a spectacularly useful service by finding people. Key to having a search dog is not having a dog that will find people. The key to having a search dog is having a dog that will tell you that it's found people. And that's what makes these so special. And this is what takes them so long to train, because these have to avoid sheep, they have to avoid deer, they have to avoid hares, pheasants, they have to avoid all of the distractions. They're working a quarter kilometre away from us on the side of a mountain in farmland, and they have to avoid all of the distractions and work for in excess of 2 hours, and at some stage during that 2 hour period they will intercept the scent cone of a person. They'll turn, they'll find that person, they'll come back out and indicate the find to us by barking at us, and then bring us back in, and they will do all of this in order to get a tennis ball. And that's mad.
The best time to be called out is immediately, because the sooner we can get out, the sooner we can get the casualty found. Our situation is our dogs are equivalent to maybe 16 to 18 people searching. As we're here in the wood, you can see here, we can go along search paths along there, and our dogs can run down each side, and we'll be in and out of an area in very short space of time, to be followed up, if so needs, by our mountain rescue teams or our colleagues who are with us.
The ideal breeds of dog are the working breeds, so the collies, the collie retrievers, shepherds, springers, anything with a strong coat, because they have to withstand all sorts of weathers, and anything that you know is capable of working. They need a strong play drive, and they need to be completely and utterly toy obsessed, because the toy is what we use to reward them. This level of toy obsession is the obsession that you need, the way he just would stare at that. When they find, they get the reward of the toy. They'll work for 2 hours, in excess of 2 hours, just to get that reward. So the theory is that by starting these dogs running off to get their toy into the wind, they will get all of the information that they need as to how to locate that person from the wind, not from the ground. So they're following air scent. And that air scent is comprised of little bits of skin cell that is sloughing off our bodies continually. We're losing these all the time. And they form a cone as they leave our bodies. And as they get further and further away from us, that cone is getting wider and wider. So 200, 300, 400 meters away from us, that cone is a very diffuse, wide cone. And these dogs are trained to turn as soon as they intercept any of those skin cells, parts per million of air of skin cells. And as soon as they intercept these, they turn on that scent cone and start weaving their way into where that person is, which is a stunning thing in and of itself to be able to do that. But what's even more stunning is that having done that, they then turn and they come back out to us and indicate that find at us and then bring us back into the person. And that's the key. Everyone assumes the hard thing is teaching them to find people. That's the easy thing. The hard thing is teaching them to come back out and tell us that they found people. They need to do that 100% of the time. Every single time that they've found somebody, once they're qualified like he is, 100% of the time they need to come back out and indicate that find.